Good Kid, M.a.a.d City by Kendrick Lamar. Good Kid, M.a.a.d City was Kendrick Lamar's major label debut. M.a.a.d is an acronym for two things: My Angry Adolescence Divided and My Angels on Angel Dust. It is considered as a classic by most people, but how do we feel about it 7 years later? Here's our honest review of Good Kid, M.a.a.d City by Kendrick Lamar.
Good Kid, M.a.a.d City, man. 7 years later.
Dang.
7 years after the
feel like that.
And I don't feel like it was 7 years ago when this joint came out, man.
Man, I couldn't remember exactly when I listened to it too.
Was Good Kid, M.a.a.d City the first time you heard Kendrick?
No, the first time I heard Kendrick was High Power, the song. And then, I kind of picked up on little bits here and there. Then I finally got around to listening to Section 80. Then I just stayed away from it a while. But when Good Kid, M.a.a.d City dropped, I was on the city bus and I was listening to it my whole bus ride home. I don't know how many times I listened to it, but I know it was more than 3.
I actually got put on a Kendrick Lamar with Overly Dedicated.
Okay.
It was around the time I was going to Dat Piff every week looking for a new mixtape to download.
Okay.
And then I downloaded Overly Dedicated, and I never forget how that intro blew my mind where he started coughing after he sped up. Yeah. And then I was just like, man, he got some more stuff. So I downloaded the Kendrick Lamar EP.
Okay.
And one of my friends knew about him, and he put me on one of his other joints, Vanity Slave.
Okay.
And so I was hooked, man.
That's what's up.
How you feel about these album artworks, man? Or whichever one.
I love both
one,
of them.
right?
That's the deluxe edition.
Okay.
And that's the regular cover. The regular cover is, I'm blessing my family photo and everything, but I always liked it because it had that Polaroid effect and everything like that. So both covers I thought was pretty dope just because it really gave off that essence of you're delving into somebody's life and their story. And like at the time, I loved concept albums, whenever it's about something or somebody. So it was always interesting when I see an album cover like that, because it's like, okay, it's about to be something deep.
Yeah, absolutely, man. The album cover for the regular one to me looks like a scene from Menace to Society. I don't know if you remember when Kane saw his dad, who was Samuel L. Jackson, playing cards at the table.
Yes.
That looks like they played cards at that table. And then the cover of the van, man, a couple of my friends' parents had vans back in the day, and that was just the thing.
I had a van like that.
Normally when you got a family member that's shuffling kids around all the time, they got a van. So the flow of this project, man, look, this is a just straight story album. From beginning to end, this was the first time I had personally ever heard something like this done. I'm not sure if it had been done before that, but I just remember just the whole concept of somebody doing a whole album where all the songs actually connect to one story. It was amazing to me, and it still is, actually, even though Kendrick's done it multiple times at this point.
Yeah, I'm trying to think, and I think this was like one of the first albums that literally took you into another place. Everything was literally connected. Everything was coherent, cohesive, all that. And, it just stuck all together like one package.
Yeah, man. Highlights for this joint. Well, first off, I want to just go over a little story. The first time I actually heard this album, I thought it was trash.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I wasn't listening. It was just playing.
It was just playing.
It was just playing in my ear.
I can see how you would think that.
And not only that, it didn't sound like Section 80 and Overly Dedicated, so I was just like,
so you were like,
I had it in my head, like, and I was just like, why you got these stupid ass skits? And then when I remember going back to work after going back to lunch break, and homeboy was just like, yo, what you think? And I was like, yo, it's just trash, bro. He's like, did you listen to it? I'm like, yeah, I listened to it. He's like, no, but did you listen to it? And then I was just like, honestly, man, I be thinking a lot when the music be playing sometimes and catch my attention. He's like, yo, just listen from the beginning. And I remember listening, and I was just like, man, how wasn't I falling in love with this Shireen story? Like, this joint is crazy. And then from that point on, I love the album. But highlights for this joint: every song on the project.
Yes.
I'm not a Kendrick Lamar stan, by the way, because that's what people gonna say. But if I had to actually pick my favorites, Shireen, aka Master Splinter's daughter, that name of the title is still hilarious to me. I love that song. It was super visual for me. Like, it just kind of took me back to when I was a teenager. You know what I'm saying? Like, watching Martin, like, damn, man, I come over after I finish watching this episode of Martin, and almost crashing in the car when girls sending you news and stuff in the phone. Like, a lot of that stuff, like, I went through that stuff too. So I know what he was talking about. I could see it because it's just like, man, like I'm not too far removed from that. You know what I'm saying? The Art of Peer Pressure. Man, this song is so sick to me because if you really sit here, like, and I'm talking about, I really want people to listen to the words. Yeah. Like, he is breaking down, like, peer pressure for most people. Yeah. Like, he's telling you how normally he, on a regular day, he wouldn't do this, but while he's with the homies, you know, he does dumb shit. Money Trees featuring J-Rock. I've always loved this song. This song is ridiculous Classic. To me. Yeah. Swimming Pools, Drink. Yeah, I know it's a single, but my reason for really loving this song is because people always thought it was a song promoting alcohol, but if you actually listen to the lyrics, he's actually discouraging drinking alcohol.
Funny story behind that.
And most people don't even catch that. You know what I'm saying? And if aside from that, I would go with Compton, because Compton is another one of those joints where I was just like, man, him and Dr. Dre, they never really worked together. You know what I'm saying? And I really wish they would have did a whole project, but it never actually really came to fruition. So Compton is another one of those joints for me that's just like, man, I love this joint. I can name every song on this project, but I'm not going to do that just because, you know, I'm not trying to be talking about Kid M.a.a.d City for 30 minutes.
Yeah, man. I'll just go. Every song on this is a highlight to me. I'm just going to say the same thing. Bitch Don't Kill My Vibe. Yeah, that was the single too. But man, that song was really dope. I just really love the whole vibe of the song. I really love that. Backseat Freestyle though. When I first heard it, like in the context of like just because I think I had one of those moments too where I really wasn't paying attention to the skits or whatever like that. But I was like, yo, how does this fit on the album and everything like that in the context of what he's talking about? But then, you know, playing it back, I'm like, oh, the boy's kicking the freestyle, It was dope. And then at the time, there was rumors that he did this in one take. This was like, you know, he went in the booth and did a song in one take and all that.
I can believe that.
I believe it too, because it really felt authentic and everything like that. Money Trees, I could literally listen to that on repeat for about an hour and not get sick of it. That's just how much I love the song. Good Kid M.a.a.d City, bruh. I love the build up between both songs and how dynamic it sounds. That I forget the words. Baby, when we recollect donation. I can't remember the words right now, but you know how the build up in Good Kid.
Oh, you're talking about the hook.
The hook, yeah. I just love how it sounds, like how they mix the just the blend of the production with that, and then when it hits straight into Mad City, yo, that shit is just like the whole sound of it, just the whole, man, it's just ridiculous how great the song sounds. And Kendrick and his lyrical ability on this, and not only just his lyrical ability, but his way to change his voice tones and everything, his pitches and everything like that. Like, I never knew an artist could make me feel like so crazy when it comes to change, like, you know, just changing your pitch and your tone of your voice. Yeah. I didn't know how much that could elevate a song and make it sound so much more raw, you know. And it's just crazy how he does that. Sing About Me, I'm Dying of Thirst. I love the whole construction of the skits and that song together, because it really puts a vivid picture in your head. Like, you know, when they're going and they see the neighbor on the streets and everything like that, and they're talking, like, this whole album just does a great job of painting the scenes in your head. Like, this is like an audio book to me. It really paints a picture in your head. And going out with Real and Compton was just like the icing on the cake, man, because it really brought the story full circle. And ending with Compton with Dr. Dre, I felt like it was just that marathon. Like, I'm at the end. This is it. You know, I'm about to go nowhere but up from here. So yeah, man, just real triumph to mine.
I want to point out on Good Kid, because a lot of people always point out, and I even point out sometimes that I always say stuff about Pharrell.
Okay.
Good Kid is one of the craziest beats Pharrell's ever made.
That's true.
So you know, for everybody that always says
you always be hating
about, that is like one of his dopest beats. My favorite Pharrell beat is the Allure from Jay-Z, the Black Album. That's just my personal favorite. But this joint right here, this joint is crazy. Low Lights, I don't really have any. I'm trying to think if I could nitpick any. I mean, not really. It's the whole joint is crazy. The skits are amazing. I love everything about
Well,
this
then let me
project.
ask you this: what made it put you off the first time you listened to it?
I wasn't listening.
Oh, that's it.
It
was it just because
playing.
of the sound of Section 80? Like, did you have a certain favoritism when it came to Section 80?
I mean, I don't know. I don't know what I was expecting. Honestly.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? And all I know is that I'm hearing these skits in the
I
background.
think that's what put a lot of people off, because I remember when this
did
came
like
out.
Bitch Don't Kill My Vibe. Like it was like just the way Kendrick's voice sounds and everything. And at that point, I had been listening to Kendrick for a while, so it wasn't like his voice sounded new to me.
Right.
But it still was a little different, and I had to still get used to it again because I guess maybe I hadn't listened for a while when this came out.
Gotcha.
So I don't know. I don't really know. I just think it was just because I wasn't listening, because knowing how I am about music, if I was paying, like how when I heard it the second time, it clicked immediately.
Right.
It was because I just wasn't focusing on the lyrics. It was just playing.
Gotcha.
It wasn't like I really wanted to hear it. But when my homeboy was like, yo, bro, just listen.
Yeah.
And then I actually sat there and just listened and zoned out. I was just like, yo, this shit is crazy.
Yeah, I have no lowlights at all. This album has grown to be a classic to me. So I really can't really nitpick on any faults on this album because it was just constructed so well. And I feel like this is like one of those albums that really made me start, like, I had already like paid attention to detail when it comes to albums, but this is like one of those albums that really made you focus and everything. And I remember people around me always saying, like, you know, what's so good about Kendrick Lamar and this and that, why he's so big? And I'm like, have y'all ever really sat and listened to it? They're like, yeah, we listened to it. No, I'm like, have you sat in a room chilling, just relaxing, and take back and soak this in? Because I really think it's an experience to listen to this album, because he takes you into his body, his story, literally his life. So yeah, man, no lowlights.
Look, man, final thoughts, man. This, in my opinion, this is one of my top 5 favorite albums ever. Like, this joint is masterfully put together.
Yeah.
Lyrically, it's ridiculous. The album artworks are really dope. They put you right into the story. All of it, like you said, every single song, just the way they connected. Songs like Real, where you get all the way to the end and then he kind of flips it on you and starts making you question everything. Like, I love when artists do stuff like that. He kind of did it again on Black of the Berry, Sweeter the Juice. Yeah. You know, and then he did it again with Duckworth. You know what I'm saying? So I mean, but at the same time, man, like Kendrick, and the thing is he still ain't did an album where Dr. Dre produced the joint for him.
Dang.
Like, so when he I guess when he runs out of ideas, that's what he'll roll with. Don't get me wrong, he works with Dahi and Soundwave and a lot of people that work with Dre, but it still hasn't happened yet. The Dr. Dre produced album. I mean, it's when it comes, oh my goodness, it's could you imagine that? But I'm just saying, like, Kendrick Lamar is gonna go down as one of the all-time greats in my opinion. He dropped 3 classic albums back to back to back. I don't know the last person that, and Section 80 is damn near classic to me. So I mean, who has a starting 4 albums that's that crazy? Like, I can't really think about it. You know, I know there's a couple people that did pretty good with their first 3. You know, more like Jay's first was crazy. His second one is almost there. You know, his third one is crazy. His fourth one misses the mark. So I mean, it's just, it's only so many artists that do that. I mean, I know M's first 4 is cool. You know, I mean, his fourth one, you kind of lose me there with some of the joints, but at the quality that Kendrick put out with the first 4, like, that's kind of tough to do.
Most definitely. This album, man, it's just like, when I think about it, I just play through the whole thing again, all the scenes, the storylines, the wordplay, the production. It's just really a beautiful crafted piece of work. There's not much more I can say about it without sounding like a stan. But this album, I think, will go down to be, like, you know, one of the greatest albums ever made, just because of how it just told a consistent, fluid story with great production and great rapping.
Final grade, man. Look, I give it a check. I mean, obviously there's nothing else to give it. This is an incredible album, and if you haven't listened to it yet, I honestly don't understand what you're waiting for. Go check it out, and then check out the other 2 albums, To Pimp a Butterfly and Damn, as well. All classics. And then you could also check out Section 80, Overly Dedicated, Kendrick Lamar LP, if you just want to, get caught up on what he's been doing and see why people always consider him one of the top 3 artists out right now.
Yeah, man, I get his check as well. I mean, you're always going to get growth with Kendrick Lamar, so if you haven't heard this, go listen to it, and you'll see where he has grown from, and just listen to it, man. And please just listen to it all the way. Like, sit down and listen, because he has a story to tell and it needs to be heard.
Absolutely.